Welcome back, everybody. I just wanted to do another portfolio update. In this video, I'll go ahead and go over my current positions, what I see in the market, and where I think the market potentially could go, with this being a big week with the Fed rate cut decision on Wednesday. So before we go ahead and get into it, if you don't mind hitting that like and subscribe button, I would definitely appreciate it. So you can see the account has done very well since opening it. We're up almost about $5,000, so about 30, almost 33%, which is pretty good. Um, One thing that I haven't mentioned consistently throughout the video is that I've been depositing money as we go. So the balance isn't necessarily reflecting all gains. Um, every time I get paid, I usually put in about $1,000, $1,500. But this is just showing what in profits I've made. So I think in total I've deposited about 14,500 bucks, and then this other $5,000 is all profits that I've made so far through stocks, options, and then crypto. So let's go ahead and look at the overall market. So you can see market has been in a consistent uptrend. I've said that several times over the last couple of videos. There's been no reason to try and short this market, to fight it. I've taken a few paper cuts, trying to pick some areas where I thought that putting on some hedges would be a good idea, and I've got out of them very quickly. You can see why. The market's been consistently resilient. I don't have any areas that I'm looking to play any puts or any future short or anything like that. As far as the NASDAQ goes, I'm still really interested in this level here. I know I've talked about it in a couple prior videos, but I don't know. I don't know if we'll get to that in the next couple months, the next year. I have no idea how high this market is going to keep going. Same thing with the S&P. I'd really love to see it come and test these levels here, these prior all-time highs, from what was this, December and February. But I don't know when that's going to happen. So for now, I haven't sold any positions. I'm staying where I'm at, and I'm just building cash. I think that the market is starting to get some euphoria in it. People are starting to continuously post on Twitter, every day, my account is green, green, green. Those are all signs that, maybe you should start to get a little bit more constructive and maybe look at your portfolio. And if you have a nice year, take some gains off the table. There's nothing wrong with that. So, but everybody's portfolio is different. So I won't tell you what specifically to do, but that's what I would be doing. That's what I've been doing. So you can see here the Russell. So this should be the biggest beneficiary of these rate cuts that are possibly incoming. We won't know if these rate cuts are, if the Fed is essentially cutting into a slowing down economy, or they're cutting rates because inflation is under control. We won't know that probably for another 6 to 12 months. So who knows where. But for now, I'm thinking that the Russell is going to probably try and come back up here and test this all-time high and maybe even break out. I know I've seen several people on Twitter. I have people in my Discord that I'm in that are playing this. They've been long for some time now, anticipating that when the Fed does cut rates, Russell is going to rally super hard. Which it should. A lot of the companies in the Russell 2000 are not profitable companies. By lowering interest rates, that lowers their borrowing costs. So these stocks should have a good run. But we'll see. I'm not really investing in a ton of them, but I'll kind of highlight some in this video. So, but let's go ahead and get into the current positions that I have. So Google, haven't added anything to Google. It had this massive gap up, and I'm just letting the position ride. So you can see here, I still have. So I'm up about 12, almost 1,300 bucks, which is pretty good. My average cost is 180 and I have 18 shares. So nothing significant. I wish I would have been buying more in here. I was a little hesitant because I thought maybe the market was going to start to pull back, and then Google ripped. It happens. All I can do now is just manage the position, which I'm not planning to sell anything. If it starts to pull back, I'll buy more then. But for now, I'm just letting the position ride. Amazon, same thing. Haven't made any changes to it. It's kind of in no man's land right now. It could come up here. I'm going to change this to a 24-hour chart so we can see its extended hours. Could come up here and test this trend line at, what is this, 241. But I'm not planning to add right now. I just don't see anywhere that I love. Now, if it was to drop into this what is this, 214 to 208, then I'd be a little bit more constructive. AMD, still haven't done anything. Still waiting for a potential pullback here. This anchored VWAP is around 139. I'm going to set 10 shares of a limit order there, and then I'm also going to set 10 shares. I believe I was going to set it at the 200 day at 125. So if AMD price was to roll over and get to these levels, those orders will execute. I don't have to do anything. I haven't set those there though. So as far as my Oscar Health position, I haven't done anything else. You can still see I still own just 100 shares, 9 shares of Amazon, and 10 shares of AMD. Now in last video, I had a Baidu options position. Now let me go ahead and show you the Baidu chart. So I believe when I did the video, and you can go back and watch, it's the most recent video prior to this one that I'm recording, I think I want to say I bought the Baidu contract on September 2nd. Now let's go in here to my options. As you can see, I have other options plays here. Let's just do this. And Baidu's just had a nice run, but I took the contract off, so I bought one contract September 2nd, so it was that candle at 10.50, and then on September 8th, so just about a week later, this massive gap up here, I sold it. Now you can see it's kind of run a little bit more, but I was looking for just a quick move out of this downtrend. So I sold it for $18.80, so I made 830 bucks. So that's pretty good returns for, I think I held this for a week, maybe a week. Yeah, just a little over a week. So that's good returns. You know, you can't complain. Now the other two options positions that I have open, and I'll explain why I'm in these positions. So I'm in Snap here. The reason why is that you can see that it's been kind of coming down here testing. So this is COVID low here. This was the October 22nd low. Then we had another low on the 25th, and we're just consolidating down here. Now, is there a good chance that Snap could just completely roll over and just keep going lower? Sure. But the reason why I decided to take this position too is you can see all the volume building here. A lot of the times, if price is in a real tight range here, that could just be accumulation. It could be institutions, it could be other big money coming in and just slowly accumulating in this area for this position. So that's the reason why on this specific options play, I took out almost 6 months. So you can see here I bought Snap $7 calls for March 20th, 2026. So I have almost 6 months of time to let these calls mature. They're in the money already because I bought the $7 calls. So I'm looking to possibly come back, and you can see this nice downtrend line it's been respecting. 3 rejections there, usually a 4th at a downtrend should get broken. So if the Fed cuts rates, small caps start to really run, Snap could be a beneficiary of that and could possibly push up here to this 9 to maybe 10.50 range. It would be really nice to get it back up to this $12 range, but we'll see where it goes. I'll manage the position accordingly. With these options plays, I never try and hit these for 200-300%. I'm looking to double my money or maybe triple it, and that's it. I'm not trying to sit here and be super aggressive. But because I bought 4 contracts, I could take 2 off here at this downtrend line, and then if it breaks out, hold the other 2 as runners. So I haven't completely formulated where I'm going to, how I'm going to manage it as far as how many contracts to take off. I have areas that I'm interested in removing the contracts though. As far as a stop loss, it's simple. You can see here since we've been in this range since August 2nd, or excuse me, August 12th. Today is September 15th, so it's been over a month. We've just been chopping between like 740 and 690. So we'll see. If it breaks below and it has a weekly close, maybe below this 690, I'll close the position. I'll probably lose 300 bucks. But if this position really takes off, it could be $1,000 or $1,500 that I can make. So it's good risk to reward. So that's why I'm in the position. The other position, in prior videos, I had UPS shares. I sold them because I wanted to free up cash to add to other positions or just have cash ready in the event that the market pulled back. Those things haven't happened yet. That's fine. The cash is still there. It's not being put to work yet, but eventually, hopefully, the market will give us an opportunity to put that money to work. But I talked about this COVID low here, and I had talked about prior support areas, or excuse me, resistance areas. Resistance finally broke through, came back, support, broke a little bit through, support. So now we're back at this level. We're back at this COVID level. One other thing, once again, that I am liking to see here, volume is increasing. Look at the volume here on the entire run up of UPS, and then even coming down. Let me just squeeze the chart a little bit so you can see it a little better. But volume has slowly over the last, let's say, 6 months has been increasing. Insiders are also buying this company as well. So there's really no harm. There's minimal risk with a lot of upside. So what did I do? I took a January 15th, 2027. So this is way, way out of the money or out as far as a options contract. It's a true, true leap here. I have like a year and a half almost on this contract. So I'm not in a rush. I bought basically in the money at $80 call here. Same plan. If we start to break down and start to trade below, what is this, 8105, or have a weekly close below it, or there's a heavy sell below that with heavy volume, big volume spike here, I'm going to get out of the position. I'm just going to cut it, call it a loss. But once again, you can also see a downtrend here. Do I think that UPS anytime soon is going to randomly rally to $124? No. But maybe in a year, could it be up to 124? Sure. And on that one options contract that I paid $1,000 for, I could make $3,000 or $4,000, which isn't bad returns. So the risk to reward is there. That's why I took the position once again. So we'll see how that plays out. I'll keep you guys updated. And then lastly, as far as the Ethereum position, I haven't done anything with it. It's still been sitting there. I did stake my Ethereum. You can see that here. Let me see. Maybe not. I'm not sure actually how to show that it's staked. Maybe somewhere down here. No, maybe not. But I staked it, so I'm accruing I think like 2.75 APR or something on whatever position I have. So I've gained I think an additional like 0.18 of Ethereum. It's been like $12 that I've made from staking the Ethereum, so nothing crazy. But that's a position that I wanted to hold for an extended period of time, years. So that's why I staked it. I said, look, I'm not doing anything with it. I'm not going to sell this remaining amount. If anything, I might add to the position, but that's about it. So, but that's where I'm at right now. As far as potential positions, I always have this watch list over here. I'll go through a few. So, Okolo, I liked the chart. I wish I would have nibbled here on these pullbacks, but I didn't. And now you can see it's running and it seems extended. So I'm going to let this go. The other stock that I had been looking at to buy, and I wish I did, but I didn't buy it before this massive news with Microsoft partnership that had this massive gap candle, was Nevis. So now I'm going to wait. You can see here when I go to dailies, this is a massive gap here. There's a good chance that if the market, I keep saying it, so I'm going to stop jinxing myself. If the market pulls back, whenever that may be, Nevis could pull back as well. I've got some anchored VWAPs here. I've got some levels that I'm looking to buy. If it comes back into this $55 range, which it might not, I might have to just get a little bit more aggressive. I'll look to possibly open a position in here. The other stock that I'd like to possibly open a position in is AST Space Mobile. So this stock had been on a really, really nice run, and now it was almost 50% off the highs. It was at $60 basically, came all the way down to 36. You can see the 200-day moving average is slowly climbing up. It's got this nice downtrend that it broke out of. I'd love to see it come down here and possibly get down to maybe this $30 range. I would probably buy some shares at the 200-day and then see what it did on this back test here. Now, the area that I'd really watch to see is if it can hold this uptrend. You can see this uptrend from when it started to break out last year in May of 24, came down, and this was the April low from the tariff scare. So that could be an area where you could say, okay, is there strength or is this name starting to roll over? And then decide what you want to do with the position. But this is also a position that I'd be fine buying, 50 or 100 shares. It would be like $1,600 or $3,300 or whatever. And just letting the position ride. This is a position that you would have to have a lot of patience and be thinking 10 to 20 years from now, not a year from now. Could a year from now, could it completely skyrocket to 100? Yes, but this company also is pre-revenue. They're not generating any revenue right now. So that's something to consider as well. One other name that I really liked is Adobe. So Adobe has been pretty beat up. But the chart to me looks like it could be trying to potentially put in a long-term bottom. I would love to see if it could get down to this trend line here. So this is the COVID low, the bear market low of 22. So if it came down into this 296 area, I would be interested in maybe possibly buying 10 to 15 shares. It's kind of expensive. I don't have a big account. or anything like that. So I couldn't afford to, buy 100 shares. That'd be $29,000 if it got down here. So I'm not going to do that. But I could slowly start nibbling and start building a position possibly if it could get down here. Other stocks that I'm interested in would be Hood, also very extended, a very loved stock. So I'll wait. I'll wait to see what happens. I'll wait to see if there's any weakness that develops, and then I'll decide what I'm doing. Same thing with TSM. Never got my entry. You can see here I still have the box. Got close on this wick, but just didn't get there, so I didn't do anything. Um, the next stock. So I totally fumbled the bag here. I had originally bought, I think, like 12 or 15 shares around this. I think my average was like 292. And I got out of it after the earnings report, which was on July 23rd. I had made a video probably 2 or 3 videos ago just discussing that. I didn't like the quarter. I thought that if the market had rolled over, the stock was going to sell off heavy. Well, that's not what happened exactly. So you can see here, I should have got back into the stock when I continued to see these lower high patterns, and now it's ripped. Where it goes from here, I have no idea. It's going to be hard to say what specifically happens here, but you got to be ready for anything. And it took off. It took off without me, so it's not the end of the world. You wait, and I'll see if there's a better entry in the future on Tesla to get into the stock, because I do believe in the company long term. Robotics, autonomous driving, things like that. I think 10, 15 years from now will be huge. Tesla could be a $1,000 to $1,500 stock, maybe more. So it's definitely a stock that you don't have to have a huge chunk in your portfolio, but I would definitely put a little bit. Same thing with Meta. Nothing that I love. The chart is just it's kind of in no man's land. It's not somewhere that I would be willing to aggressively put money to work. So um, that's pretty much it, though. We'll see what happens on Wednesday with the Fed decision. It's going to be a big decision. A lot of people are talking about that the market has already priced in 25 basis points of cuts. So if that's the case, this could potentially be the trigger that we need to start a sell-off. Everybody's bulled up. Everybody's thinking, okay, as soon as the Fed cuts rates on Wednesday, we're off to the races. Very well could be. The market can completely rip. I would actually love to see the market just rally massive, 2 to 3% on the day, and then see a nice reversal candle maybe the next day or on Friday. That would tell me that there's no more buyers, that the market had its final big push, 2 to 3% day, maybe 150 points, 200 points on the S&P, and then we start to see some selling. If that happens, I'll look to potentially, take a contrarian short, whether it's through options or futures. But I have to find an area that I like. I'm not just going to blindly get in and then place my stop loss above the previous high. That's not going to work. So if I don't see anything and the market just starts selling, I'm just going to let it start selling. And if this is the beginning of the turn, so be it. But I would be cautious, is all I'm saying, to be putting on tons and tons of new positions unless you have a year to two horizon outlook. If you're trading short dated options, like the end of this week, end of next week, you could be in for a very bumpy ride, because how much the premiums are going to be jumping around and stuff, and any sudden drops or any sudden rallies are going to kill your premiums with these short dated calls or puts. So just be mindful of those things. If you want to play these things and you think the market's going to rip higher, maybe buy a month out, if you can afford it. That'll just save you on these premiums and the decay as all the volatility goes on and stuff, because the volatility will pick up probably on Wednesday. I would think tomorrow is going to be a slow day. There's not going to be a lot of action in the market, but Wednesday through the rest of the week could be a big turning point. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what the rest of the portfolio does, and I'll keep you guys updated.